Wow, I can't believe I got him at 10.
Oh,
This is a little disrespectful.
oh.
I got my reasonings. Debo Samuel. 9, DK Metcalf. There's a lot of good receivers. 8, DeAndre Hopkins. 7, Tyreek Hill. 6. Oh, yeah, I went back and forth with Tyreek Hill in my 6. Mike Evans. Fine.
Okay.
5, Stephon
Hold on,
Diggs.
hold on.
You said go to 5, and we do top
No,
4.
I was saying go to 10 to 6.
Oh,
And
my
then we
bad.
do a top 5. It's all good. Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. It is good to hear that Diggs in your top 5, though. I'm glad to hear that.
I gave him some respect.
Shout out to you for that, man. All right. So you're 10 to 6. Once again, you said you had Debo Samuel, DK Metcalf. You went DeAndre Hopkins at 7, right? 8. He was okay.
Tyreek
DeAndre
at
8,
7.
Tyreek at 7.
Evans at 6.
Gotcha. All right. So for you want to give any reasoning why you
Okay.
had those guys where they were at?
Yeah, Debo Samuel. No McDaniel. I get that Shanahan's back, but I think McDaniel was a pretty nice offensive coordinator for them.
Yeah.
Knew how to utilize Debo Samuel. The stat that sticks out to me, obviously he had an incredible year last year, and this is why I feel bad that he's at 10. 1,400 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns, also 8 rushing touchdowns with 365 on the ground. Just pretty ridiculous. Really good season last year. But I don't know if this is replicable, especially now with them moving on from Jimmy G to Trey Lance. I don't think it's going to be the same. This is the thing that really got him into that stratosphere last year, though, is the yards per reception, because he was the leader.
Yeah.
It was like 18. You look back,
It ain't like
the
that.
last 3 seasons of, let's say, the top 3 guys for yards per reception, 2020, Valdez Scantling was number 1. Aguilar was 2. DJ Moore was 3. 2019, Mike Williams was 1. AJ Brown was 2. Good receivers, but
It ain't. Yeah.
I mean, we aren't talking about them being in the top 5. McCole Hardman was 3 in 2019, and then 2018, Deshaun Jackson was 1. Josh Gordon, Patriots was 2.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett was 3. So that's my thing. I think for Debo Samuel, that was just an amazing year, and you just got to give it to him. I think he's still going to be a good player. I don't think it's going to be the same. If he keeps doing that, obviously I'm going to be wrong. He's going to be a top 5 receiver whenever we do these lists again. But I think a lot of things are changing. He's a little disgruntled too. Doesn't want to run as much, but that was one of the things that made him who he was last year.
No, facts.
So that's why I got him at 10. I mean, just based off last year, he should be higher. He should probably be in the top 5. But as we're sitting right now, we're in between seasons. Who do I want going forward? Can they replicate it? And you got to think, it was only one season. Like his rookie year, he only had like 300 yards.
Yeah.
So there is,
he was hurt some time though. He missed some time with it.
yeah, there is a do it again factor with him.
Yeah.
9, DK Metcalf. I think underrated at this point. I mean, 3 seasons is basically averaging 1,000 yards a year and 10 touchdowns.
And that was with Geno last year.
Geno for like, what was it, 4 games or something
Yeah.
like that? So yeah, he's good. And he brings that X factor. I think a lot of the guys that I have below him just doesn't have. Take the top off the defense, the physicality, all that stuff we know DK Metcalf to be.
Yeah.
So he's at number 9. Hopkins, he would be higher, but he was injured last year. Still had a good year for the games that he played, but then he's also going to be suspended this year.
Hand stands.
Just not as, I guess, reliable as the guys in front of
hand
him.
stands made him piss hot. Hand
Yeah,
stands.
that was
man.
it. That's really it. Because
Hey, going D. How you get D hop like that, man? Come on, bro. You gotta work on your product a little better.
if there was
next
no
time.
injury last year and no suspension this year, I got him probably above Diggs or in that Diggs range.
Fair, yeah.
Maybe at 6. Tyreek Hill at 7.
Now, what's the thought process with that one? Yeah,
At 7?
yeah.
It's just not going to be the same without Mahomes.
Fair enough.
That's my
Okay.
thinking. And this is why I got him over Hopkins. I think Hopkins is better, but these last 2 seasons, basically 1,200 yards each season. 2020 he had 15 touchdowns. 2021, 9 touchdowns.
Okay.
With him, I just don't think it's going to be the same.
Okay.
That's really it. Him going down to Tua. Mike Evans, based off like these last 2 seasons, Tyreek Hill probably should be above Mike Evans. But I just want to give credit for how good I think Mike Evans is and how underrated he is. Could he be
He's
the most
very
consistent receiver in the league?
He's very
8 straight seasons with 1,000 yards, averaging almost 10 touchdowns a season. And he's still young, 29 years old, and he has Brady back. So I don't think that changes.
No, I'm with you.
He's
on that,
always, you never hear anything about him being like crazily injured, always available, and just puts up numbers. Won a Super Bowl.
No,
So yeah,
facts.
I got him at 6.
All right. So for me, man, I guess I'll read off a couple of these honorables I had, man. I just put down 3 names. I ain't want to do a ton of these dudes because anybody that's looked at the wide receiver market, I'm sure you've done it as well. It's a ton of quality guys, man. A ton of names that dudes we're leaving off lists are on other people's top 10 lists, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a case for a few
ESPN lists,
people.
all type of stuff, like just across the board, man. But the 3 dudes that I had included as my honorable mentions, I had Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I had Terry McLaurin, and I had Deontay Johnson. AJ Brown was the last one that I had. But for me, man, I was like, I could go down this list and name probably another 5 or 6 guys, realistically. And I was just like, I ain't want to do all that. So that's why I left it at those dudes. But coming in at number 10 for me, man, I got DK Metcalf right here. I'll read them one at a time and I'll just talk about them lightly while I'm going through them. Sound good?
Sure.
Yeah, so for me, man, I got DK Metcalf at 10. I just think that as a whole, even though he has some of the drop issues, when you talk about legitimately being able to take the top off the defense, when you talk about a guy that when the ball is in his hands, he is a danger to go to the house. We talk about the speed, the physicality that he plays with, the size. To me, he would be a lot higher on this list if some of the drops were down a little bit, because we talk about how he'll have some of the Julio drops. That's what I call them, where it's like, man, how you dropped that one, dog? You way too nice to be having those. He has that in his game. Obviously, we know last year it was a little mixed bag, man, with the quarterback situation that they had in Seattle. But outside of that, man, DK is still he's a top-notch receiver. It's the reason why he's gonna get paid like one whenever this drops. It's gonna be happening soon. But yeah, to me, man, DK is just top-notch, man. So that's why I have him at 10. If he had a better quarterback situation too going forward, I would feel a lot more optimistic about him, but that does hurt him to an extent here, man.
Sometimes you can only go off what you see.
Yeah, absolutely, man. At number 9, man, I hate the fact that I have him this high on my list. I definitely feel like he's way better than this. It's hard to move him past these other guys, man. But I got Mike Evans here, man. To me, I don't want to use a comparison because I contradict myself, but at the same time, I'm going to use it. To me, Mike Evans reminds me of Cam Hayward just at receiver. Not flashy, but super productive. You win with him. You always know what you're going to get from this dude.
He should be high on your
He
list
does
then.
everything. Think about
Bump him
that.
up.
Man, I said, me think about Cam Hayward, right? We get pissed here in Pittsburgh when Cam isn't respected league-wide. But we know why. To me, at least, it's the other guys, they pass the eyeball test. They just look sexier. They can do a little bit of that, but they just look good. Whereas with Cam, it's not always glamorous, but we know what that is every single play. Mike Evans, he's not running by you. Mike Evans, you know what I mean? He's not going to run by. He's not going to have these crazy routes where it's, oh, man, he's wide all the way up. But he always produces. He always wins
that's
the
what I was
jump
going to say
balls.
with him, too. He was doing it with some shitty quarterbacks, too.
Absolutely. Come on.
Before Brady.
He got a Jameis in there. Okay.
I don't want to say Jameis is a bad thing for his production because maybe it actually helped him.
I'm just throwing it
He
out.
was throwing so many to
He
him.
has a Jameis. He has a Fitzpatrick in
Glennon.
there. He has a Glennon in
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, he's done. He's been through just different levels of how about we say like different
1,000
levels of
yards every
quarterback.
year. 10
But to me,
touchdowns
man,
every
like,
year.
yeah, Mike is one of them dudes, man. You win with him. You want him on your team. I happen to fall into the trap of I like a little sexy as well. If he was a Steeler, I don't mind the sexy, which is why Cam was rated high. You know, when we talk, I don't think we do. We talk D-line here, but I'm higher on Cam here because like, yo, this is my dude. He's a Steeler, and we get that. But he's not like sexy per se. With Mike Evans, he's not sexy. That's why, you know, I got to count him a little low. If he was a Steeler, I would have him higher. All right, that'd be my bias. But he's not, so no bias for you. And he's playing with your boy Brady. All right. At number 8, I got Deebo Samuel right here, man. A lot of the things you said, I agree with. The thing that is going to be interesting is, like I said, when they roll out this Trey Lance, what does it look like for Deebo? I don't think he's going to have the same level of receiving yards if it is Trey Lance at
No, because of the
quarterback.
yards per reception. A lot of it came off of
see
some
that.
big plays.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. But with Deebo, man, he's that weird combination right here also of if he's just a receiver, no running the ball at all, just a receiver, I don't know. I don't know if I like him like that just solely. I love what he does, like the receiving with what he's able to do as a ball carrier.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part for me where it's like, man, I need both of those things together. Now, since everything is that he's still in San Fran, I'm assuming that he's going to keep doing those things. So that's why I would keep him here at 8. But if he were to go somewhere where he was only going to be playing receiver, no running back, none of that, I don't necessarily know if I would put him on my list. That's just my personal feelings of Debo. But, and once again, when you're talking about could he do what he did last year again, like that's hard.
All these guys have done it,
right?
Many
multiple
years,
times. Like we've never seen that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why for me, man, I got him at 8. At number 7, man, I got DeAndre Hopkins, and the only reason he is not higher is because he took handstands and that made him have a dirty urine sample. Okay, I happen to not like.
Why did he finally get caught with it? Is the question? If he's been taking it this whole time,
I thought you was tinkering it for Kenny, and you ain't know Kenny was stretching. You was over here tinkering it, and he was and that's how Hop got popped, man. So for me, that's why I got him at 7, because we know, man, what DeAndre Hopkins is, man. In the red zone, he is a monster. We know that he can bully you anywhere he needs to when you put that ball in his vicinity. The catch radius, the hands catching element of it. That's DeAndre Hopkins, baby. That's him. So for me, man, I have him at 7 because of that. But literally, if he wasn't going to be serving a suspension, I probably would bump him up a little bit higher right here. Yeah. But this is where my list just gets absolutely brutal because I love all these dudes. And yes, I love all these dudes. So at number 6, this is the last one before we go back to you for your top 5.
Okay.
At number 6 for me, I have Justin Jefferson here.
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
And this is when I tell you this is insane. This is crazy hard for me, bro.
Is there something with the Vikings?
Just hear me out, man.
Dalvin Cook.
I mean, we talk about Justin. Justin is elite. But when I tell you my top 5, you tell me which name I'm taking off for Justin Jefferson. And that's kind of where I stand with this thing, man. Justin, what's 2 years now? 2 insane seasons. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And he has a quarterback that's going to get him that rock. Going to take care of him, man, without a doubt. It's just my top 5. I can't put him past him right now. That's just my energy, man. But yeah, man. So once again, my 10 through 6, I got DK Metcalf at 10, Mike Evans at 9, Deebo Samuel at 8, DeAndre Hopkins at 7, and then Justin Jefferson at 6.
Okay.
On to you, baby.
We already heard my 5. Stephon Diggs. Last 2 seasons in Buffalo. 2,700 yards, 18 total touchdowns. In 2020, led the league in receptions and yards. Yeah, he's been a revelation ever since playing with Josh Allen. Wasn't necessarily the same with Kirk Cousins. He was still good, but I think that's why I give props to Justin Jefferson, the numbers he's putting up. If you know my view of Cousins, I mean, he's still putting those numbers up with him at quarterback. I'm like, holy cow. So Diggs at 5. 4, Jamar Chase. This one's a tough one for me because I kind of want to put him over Justin Jefferson.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to credit what Justin Jefferson's done in back-to-back years. That's
fair.
all.
Yeah, fair.
If you're asking me to take a receiver for the upcoming year, I'd probably go Jamar Chase. It's just more do it again. I know he's going to do it again, but I just want to give credit to Justin Jefferson, what he did his rookie year. And then to actually top his rookie year last year. Rookie year. 88 receptions, 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns. And I got Justin Jefferson at 3.
Okay. Yep, I like it.
2021, just last year. 108 receptions, 20 more receptions. 200 more yards, 16. How do I say this? No, 1,616 yards.
Yeah.
And 10 touchdowns. With, like I said, Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to knock Kirk Cousins like too much, but I think he's a limited quarterback. And for Justin Jefferson to put those numbers up.
Means he's not limited. Got you. All right.
I wouldn't go that far, but the numbers in and of itself, no matter who the quarterback is, are insane. So I don't even think that matters, but it's just crazy. It's just crazy. They replaced Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson, and they get better output or input, whatever you want to call it, from the receiver that they drafted in the first round in his rookie season and in his second year. It's just crazy to me. Number 2, Devontae Adams. He's just been on one these last 4 seasons. I've been saying some of these averages for some of these players.
Been having the type of averages.
over these last 4 seasons, per 17 games, 1,558 yards per average. He's also averaging 15 touchdowns per 17 games. The one season, he missed like 4 or 5 games. But whenever you take it over per 17, that's what he's averaging every single season if he was to play all 17 games. It's insane. Could be one, has a case to be number 1. There's no doubt. But whenever you're Cooper Kupp, who I got at my number 1 spot, and you win the Triple Crown last year and win Super Bowl MVP in the fashion that he did, you're number 1.
All right.
If you want to say who are you taking next year, you think Devontae Adams is going to have a better year than Cooper Kupp, I could hear you out on that, but
Mhm.
what Cooper Kupp did last year, I think you just got to put him at 1 because that was a historical season. And if Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, whoever it is, dethrone him this
Yeah.
season, so be it. But for right now, I got to give Cooper Kupp number 1.
All
He's
right.
the guy right now.
I like it then. I like it. So for me, man, coming at number 5 on my list, I got Jamar Chase right here. I
Oh.
have him rated ahead of Justin Jefferson. Absolutely.
I thought you'd have him higher.
Well, I would, but I'll get to those guys in a second. The biggest reason why I got Jamar Chase ahead of Justin Jefferson, or why I have Jamar at 5, we know exactly who Jamar Chase is. You saw exactly what everybody saw. And for me, I just take it back to them collegiately. Jamar Chase been better than Justin Jefferson dating back to LSU. If I didn't think Justin Jefferson was better than Jamar Chase at LSU, which I've said numerous times on this show, even when they both came out back-to-back years, I say, hey, man, y'all think Justin's nice? Wait till this dude come out. I'm not changing that right now. I keep that exact same energy, man. Jamar Chase is number 5 for me because the year he had last year was crazy, and he's only going to get better. And even though I like Kirk Cousins, I think that Joe Burrow is a better quarterback. So I anticipate those numbers being even better as well, man. So that's why I got Jamar Chase at 5. At number 4, man, I got my dog, Stephon Diggs, right here, man. Number 1, man, when you talk about what he's been able to do in Buffalo, that's a big part of the reason why Josh Allen is even where he's at right now. They have that AB Big Ben connection. It's the nostalgia that I love watching those dudes play, their rapport, their relationship. It's kind of like when you watch Rodgers and Devontae Adams to an extent. It was like watching Brady and Gronk. Like certain guys, you just like, yo, they work perfectly together. And to me, man, when you talk about Diggs, he could beat you any way he needs to. Take top off, he could route you up. We know he's tough as nails, run out the catch, 100+ catch guy. And he's been doing it for multiple seasons as well, man. So that's why I got my man Diggs at 4. At number 3, I got Tyreek Hill right here, man. I know he's left Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill, though. And when I think of Tyreek Hill's impact, I ask myself, how accurate does Tua really need to be when you're throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill when he's running past people? And how many times have we seen when Mahomes just chucks it up to him? It's so much separation. He is one of those dudes that does generate college-like separation at the NFL level, but he does it consistently. To me, I love that. Speed kills at this level, and I just think that even in Miami, he does have a nice setup with his skill position players.
It's up to Tua.
It all falls on Tua. But Tua is a top 5 pick? I need to see something. But at the end of the day, man, I'm banking on Tua not having to be that accurate when you're hitting Tyreek Hill because it is Tyreek Hill, a.k.a. the Cheetah. Then at number 2, Triple Crown winner right here, man. Love what Cooper Kupp did last year, man. You talk about a season for the ages, without a doubt. A postseason run, the Super Bowl run, the Super Bowl MVP, like everything across the board. He checked all those boxes. My only knock on him is, what have the other years looked like? And that's why I have him at number 2. I still think he's going to cook because when you talk about Matthew Stafford, 100%, that's going to help him even more now that they have another year together.
Yeah.
When you talk about McVay coming back, that's another year together, right? Another offseason together. They're going to continue to grow. But when I'm comparing him to my number 1, who's Devontae Adams, I ask myself this. If Cooper Kupp was playing on any other team, could he still have that type of impact? Now, we know last season was his one-off, but would he still have that type of impact if he didn't have a McVay, if he didn't have that Matthew Stafford type quarterback throwing it to him? I don't necessarily think that just based on his stature. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the fastest guy. Now, can he route you up 100%? But to me, he's more like a natural slot. I like big receivers. Devontae is a big receiver. Devontae is a receiver that it doesn't matter what offense he's playing in, who's the coordinator. He is a guy that is going to get you productivity. You're going to be able to throw it anywhere around him. He's going to come down with it. He's going to route whoever up. You can't press him. You can't play off of him. You try to get up on him. He could backshot. He could take you over the top. To me, that's the biggest difference between when I think of Cooper Kupp and what he did last year versus Devontae. Even Devontae's year last season, even though it wasn't a Cooper Kupp year, it still was crazy in its own right. So that's why for me, I'm like, man, Devontae is my number 1 because he's been doing it longer. And I think that his game travels. It doesn't matter what offense, who's the quarterback, that productivity is always going to be in the ballpark. And we're talking about Derek Carr. Derek Carr to me is not too fine. Yeah, Derek Carr is not too far off from Stafford. If Derek Carr were to get traded to another team and win the Super Bowl, we would look at him possibly like how we look at Stafford now. So that's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm like, and they got the relationship going back to college. Devontae is not about to take a step back. Devontae's still going to get off. He's still in an offense where he's going to be able to cook. So that's why I have him ultimately at number 1 instead of Cooper Kupp. But that was one of them tough ones because Cooper is like that year he put together last year was insane, bro. Insane.
Yeah, that's the thing. If anything, you
Like,
could maybe look at his production with Jared
insane.
Goff and say, wow, he was able to do that with Jared
No,
Goff.
facts.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
Facts.
I think 1 or 2 of those years, he was on like a really
He
good
got hurt,
pace
though.
and
Yeah,
he got hurt.
Absolutely. Like Coop is a dog. Like don't get it like Coop. It's the reason why he's number 2 on my list. And you
Yeah,
know,
it's not a slight.
you know
I
how-
even said that. Yeah.
But so you know how I feel about Diggs. I love Diggs. Can't put him above no Coop. I love Jamar Chase. Can't put him above Coop. I love Justin Jefferson. First off, I love him because he did that gritty and that was phenomenal. Now my son does it all the time. But either way, it's just like, dude, I can't put those dudes over Coop. Even if I feel like, hey man, are they more athletic? Or could I play him in inside or outside? But it's like, bro, this Cooper Kupp we talking about, bro. So
I'm
that's
looking
why
at
he's number
this
2, man.
list. I mean, our big difference is Tyreek Hill. I'm wondering.
No, it's Tyreek and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I guess that's
'Cause
we
I'm-
flipped them basically.
Yeah,
right?
I have Tyreek at 3, Justin at 6. You have Justin at 3,
Yeah.
Tyreek at 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are flips.
The only thing with Tyreek Hill is literally the Tua situation.
Yeah.
So, how you were talking about, it's on Tua. Does he have to be that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of insinuating, just like in a vacuum, who would you want as a weapon on your team, right?
Fair.
You would have
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill ranked pretty high.
Yeah, he's a weapon, absolutely.
I just don't think it's gonna be the same in Miami. That's really it.
No, that's fair
I
enough,
think
yeah.
it'll go back to
That's fair.
a little bit more what he was doing whenever they had Alex Smith,
Yeah.
which was fine. I mean,
No,
he
it
still
was.
put up
It
numbers.
was.
He
But
was
it was not the same.
nowhere
We're not-
close
yeah,
to the same.
yeah, it wasn't
So,
the same.
based off what he's done with Mahomes over these
Mhm.
past 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, whatever, I would probably have him in my top 5.
Okay.
I don't think there's any question about it.
Yeah.
I think I'm just more or less looking a little bit forward with him, and it's just not going to be the same in Miami.
Nah, I could dig it. I could dig it.
Like any of those top 5 dudes, I think it's going to age well. I wouldn't be surprised if like
Mhm.
Jamar Chase we're saying is number 1 next year.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was
Devontae
Justin Jefferson.
Adams.
Like we could legitimately make a case that Justin should be up there, man. Like all of these dudes that are in that 6-1 range. Like,
Now Diggs, I am wondering if his best season was 2 seasons ago.
see, you think that I don't? I think just
What
last
about
year,
like Gabriel Davis emerging a little bit?
No, this was what I was about to talk about. The biggest reason why you just saw a little bit of drop in the productivity, which still was crazy when he had over 100, over 1,000, and double-digit touchdowns, right? It was the Gabriel Davis just stepping up, doing more, which is fine. Because now, instead of Diggs getting all the attention that he got last year because of what he did 2 years ago, and he still was able to produce like he did last year, now you can't give him all that attention because of Gabriel Davis. And that's why I'm saying that this year coming up will look more like 2 years ago in contrast to last year, because last year it was Cole Beasley, it was Emmanuel Sanders, it was maybe Gabriel Davis. And then by the end of the year, we're like, oh, that's the dude. But prior to that, all that attention was right here on Diggs. You're not coming out here doing that now, because if you do, he's already shown that he can kill you. And that's the part for me where I'm like, he about to cook again. And he was already cooking last year, but he about to cook,
Yeah, he was
cook
fine.
again.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying it's a down year. Still
Yeah.
pretty damn good. Not even. I mean, you can't even say it's a
That's what
down
I'm like.
year.
It was just because
in terms
of the
of his
season that he
overall
had-
career,
right,
that was his
because of
second
this-
best season, actually.
hands down. Not even a debate, but because of the season he had just came off of, where
Yeah.
it was like, holy cow, like what is this? That's why, man.
Led the league in receptions
Yeah.
and receiving yards. It's
Nah,
pretty damn
facts.
good.
Facts, man.
All right, some good
Dang,
lists.
dude, I like this though, man.
I think we had everyone on the same list, right? We had
I
everyone
think we had all the same names, yeah.
just different orders.
Yeah.
That's really it.